Welcome to Too Luckies.
Too Luckies, the podcast.
And our series, Dyin,
Cryin
and
Lyin.
Lyin. This is a series of us talking about Little House on the Prairie and our take on it as adults.
It is very different as an adult.
Very different. And if you sum this all up, they can fall into one of three categories, either dying,
They're crying,
or they're lying.
lying.
So sit back, relax, come take an adventure with us as we reminisce on Little House the Prairie, Dyin,
Cryin
and
Lyin.
Lyin. Season 1, If I Should Wake Before I Die.
Now we start out with the fingers we've never seen before, and after this episode won't see again. And Carrie is out of the high chair right off the gate, sitting on Mary's lap. And then we have them all having paws gone. So it's Ma, it's Laura, it's Mary, and it's Carrie sitting on Mary's lap, and some lady that we'll never see again after this episode. And they're singing this song, this sing along. And what are they singing about right out of the gate? How the goose died last Friday, and
Behind the barn,
and they're singing it like it's such a happy song, but they're singing about dying right away. They got us.
Yeah, and can I make another note about those hands? They show, it looks like she's playing some kind of old harpsichord or something, and you can still tell that, you know, she's not the one that's actually playing it, but she's doing a much better job of faking an instrument than Chaz.
She's
Just
really
wanted to say
going
that.
for it. Yeah, she's trying. 2 seconds after we finished talking about this song about this dying goose that they were saving for the feathers for the feather bed, okay, Laura's face dropped. She was all happy. She was smiling. And then she was like, you know, I don't like singing about dying. Yes, thank you, Laura. We knew it right from the beginning. And this lady who is definitely advanced in age says, oh, don't worry about it. It's like getting to the end of a book or going down the river. Like, what the heck is this lady talking about?
Right away, they're talking about dying.
Dying. Now we got Charles with a lady we'll never see again, another older lady that we'll never see again that lives with the first older lady that was playing the song with the girls in the other scene.
Right.
And they're hanging some very modern construction paper looking thing up for this party that the other woman who was playing the harpsichord, whatever that little harp thing, it was
a little harp
thing
of
on her
some
lap. And talking about how this may be her last hurrah and that she knew about the party, even though it was supposed to be a surprise party.
Right.
And he's over there acting very familiar with this woman, like he's known her for years, and he's over there hammering things into the wall somehow. The plaster is surviving this hammering, because back then they had plaster walls, and they're already talking about how somebody was killed in the war. And we got
more dying.
Now we got Doc Baker coming in. She scolds him to this older lady, scolds him to wipe his feet, which he should have known that before. He's delivering her mail for some reason.
Opens the door, sticks his head in, then says, anybody home? What if they said no?
He didn't knock or anything. He just sticks his head in the door. And then she tells him, wipe your feet. And then he's like, I have mail for you that he just happened to be by. I mean, properties are not close. Who knows where they live, because this is another set of people that we're never going to see again. But then the birthday party that they're doing is today, and he's like, well, right. Tell her I said happy birthday unless I'm invited. How? How many things did we miss here? Like, how did he not know whether or not he was invited for today?
We did find out her name's Maddie.
Which one?
The lady that was sitting in the house when he just walked in.
Okay, so the lady who was throwing the party for the other older lady is named Maddie.
Right.
I can't remember what the other woman's name is. And really, I guess it doesn't matter because they won't be here. But Doc Baker is delivering mail and wondering if he's invited to a party that is today. Then on the way out, Doc Baker finds out he's invited, and Charles has to say, it's a surprise. To which Doc Baker says, I know. Maddie told me. Now, wait, I think Maddie is the one the birthday party's for, and this is somebody different.
No, this is Maddie.
I don't know what they're doing now. They're just, yeah.
Well,
okay.
Well, let's follow it.
What? The smirk? The smirk?
the smirk?
The smirk has already been smirking in this thing. He's been smirking, and there's been a lot of talk of being pretty. They sang a song
hold on a second.
about Boston being pretty, and
Wait a
he's
minute.
sweating profusely.
Yeah, how is he sweat? He's sweating more than when he's working out in the field, being inside. Just what's been going on here?
I don't know, but he looks like he doused himself with water. Like the only thing dry on him right now is from his elbows to the end of his sleeves, which are rolled up. Every other part of his shirt is completely soaked through with the smirk.
We find out the letter is from Eliza, and Maddie's sitting here without even opening the letter. Just says, "So sorry, can't make it. Maybe next time." To which Charles said, "You want me to bring the letter out to her?" "No, she'll know in enough time."
Well, and she won't want the surprise party that she already
Right.
knew was going to be thrown for her. And I still think we have their names mixed up, but it really doesn't matter. If you want to know, go watch the episode. So we found out the birthday girl is Maddie.
Yes.
She was the one that was playing the music with Ma and the girls at the Ingalls place. And she is despondent over the fact that her daughter Eliza is not coming for her birthday party. It's the same old, same old. We've heard this from her woman that she lives with.
She's rocking in the chair. You see she's holding the letter and just...
And we have
staring
our
off.
first official Dyin, because while she is rocking in the chair, the letter drops out of the chair and, out of her hand, and then she is a Dyin. So they didn't take very long. I don't even think we're probably not even 7 minutes into this show, and we already have Dyin. So we come into the funeral where the children who were unable to make it to the birthday party somehow made it to the graveside, which seems to be right next to the school and in between the Olsons. Like, how is that?
I was going to comment on that. The graveside is right where they have recess and play.
I mean, like, I was thinking that, like, wait a minute, like,
But okay.
this location, like, we're looking at the school is on the right, the mercantile is on the left, and they're like right in between those two things, which would have been the school grounds. And Carrie has her, go Carrie, has her
Yay.
one unintelligible line, which I think she may have said, what are they doing?
What are you doing?
And now Laura and Mary are trying to ask Amy, because we found out that the
her
other
name is
elderly woman
Amy.
was named Amy, who lived with Maddie, who just passed away. And they're asking, why couldn't the kids show up
For her birthday.
while she was alive? And she said, Amy says, well, you can miss a birthday, but you can't miss the funeral. You know what? I'd rather you miss the funeral, just show up for the birthdays.
Right. Laura comes up with a grand idea without even realizing it, as she's still talking to Amy about how it's not right that they show up for the funeral and not for the birthday, and she said it ought to be the other way around. To which Amy says a lot of things in life should be the other way around.
And then Laura says, we
says-
should have our funerals while we're still alive so we could say goodbye to everybody. To which Amy turns around and gives her a meaningful close-up look.
And I think we all know where this is going to go, but let's find out.
Yes. So she gets this great idea from Laura about doing your funeral while you're still alive. And we pull up in the wagon and he's bringing Amy back. So Charles is bringing Amy back. So he gets the horses like at an awkward angle on the fence. This is an open air wagon. You can get out any which way you want, really, left or right. What does he do? He makes her stand up awkwardly and like practically crawls over her
to get up instead of
And
just
then
getting
jump-
up on his side.
And then instead of getting out on his side and walking around the back of the wagon and walk around the horses, no, we have to walk directly in front of this woman who is now trying to squeeze herself out of the way. And now he is bodily reaching up to lift her out of the wagon.
Chaz comes right out and asks her, hey, maybe you don't want to stay alone. Why don't you come stay with us? She says, oh, no, I'll be fine. A woman of my age gets used to losing a friend now and then.
And we have
You sure?
confirmation that she is way out of town. How Doc Baker was over that way with her mail. She looks like she's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Then she goes inside the house and sits down morosely in that same rocking chair that Maddie passed away in. Now she's looking at pictures of her own children and cue
And
the
hugging them.
violins and all the sad music.
Oh, they hit us with the music. They
And
were like, be sad.
something big is coming. Let's see.
We start off with Mary praying right before dinner, and then they go into this whole planning session of planning this Amy's life that they were going to do. We're going to make sure that we visit, and the kids are visiting. Laura's talking with food in her mouth, which I'm surprised nobody scolded her for. Carrie's in the high chair where we know she was going to be. And they're going on and on about how, okay, well, switch your visits, Mom's saying. So, like, you go one day and then, Mary goes the other day so that she has more visits and we'll have her over for Sunday, Pa says. I mean, has anybody asked her what she wants to do? She was settling up her accounts at the Mercantile was the last gossip that Ma gave us.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that was a little bit of prying on her part when she says, I saw Amy Hearn at the Mercantile and she was settling up all her accounts. As if she was going someplace.
All right, but
all right,
the thing
why are you
is-
asking about what she's doing with her accounts?
Okay, but the thing is, I didn't realize that prying was such a big thing in this show, because don't you think it's prying that they're like planning this woman's life without asking her? Like, okay, we're going to come every other day and we're going to have you over for Sunday dinner. And like, maybe she doesn't want to even see you guys. Like, how do you know? We cut to Laura frantically running through town, looking all over the place. Why? Because is Pa home? Nope. He's doing
Never
some other
is.
work. He's loading up a wagon somewhere in town, loading stuff up, because does he like to be home even though he says he wants to be home?
Nah.
No. And Laura's like, Pa, it's Miss Amy. She's sick. To which we have Doc Baker over here, paused on the screen with his mouth open saying,
Doc Baker's in his office. He's examining a little kid who seems to always get sick on Mondays.
What do you say, a 5-day Quincy or something?
Sounds like a 5-day Quincy. This comes and goes like that.
It comes on Friday, and comes on Monday and leaves on Friday.
So here you go. Here's Chaz, just barges in. Doc, Miss Amy's sick. It's like, okay.
And Doc Baker launches himself out of the chair
We
and
gotta
says,
go here.
give the kid castor oil every 4 hours, to which he goes, I gotta go to school, I'm gonna be late. He got well quick.
Doc Baker. Boy, you gotta hand it to this guy. Checking over Miss Amy. Says, gosh, Amy, I can't find anything wrong with you. Your temperature's normal. Your pulse isn't great. Your pulse isn't great.
Isn't that something
I can't
wrong?
find anything wrong with
He's
you.
like, but it's good for a person your age. It's like, your pulse isn't great. So far, this episode, we know it gets busier at the end because we've seen this one before, like years and years and years ago. But I have to
we're
admit,
getting there.
it is slow.
We're getting there. Hang in there.
I'm liking Miss Amy more and more and more, but we'll tell you why. So she's over there. Oh, she's in the bed. I need water. It was literally within reach of her fingers.
It's in
but
reach.
Doc Baker had to go get it for her. Then she says, you got to promise me. You have to promise me the wake, the funeral, to which both of these men, so Charles is standing there, and Doc Baker say, there's not going to be a wake. There's not going to be a funeral. She's 79 going on 80. She was 12 days younger than Maddie, who just passed away.
Right.
And they're telling her, oh, no. There's not going to be a wedding. A wedding. There's not going to be a funeral. There's not going to be a wake. And she makes them promise that they're going to send out for her children to make sure that they're there for her wake and her funeral. And the minute she secures their promise, she slaps her thighs, throws back the covers, and jumps
Leaps
out of bed. I mean, she got some spring out of that bed. I'm liking this lady.
Right away, these two men, Doc Baker and Chaz, are going to chastise this woman when she
They
says,
are
good.
yelling.
Good, we'll have the Wake Wednesday on my birthday. I don't think this is fun. I've never put a woman, much less an 80-year-old woman, over my knee.
That was
but
Doc Baker. Like they
Yeah,
are
and then
pointing and yelling at her. Yelling at her. What?
And she's about to bitch slap them both. So hang on.
Exactly. This has gone on for quite some time, them telling her they're not going to be part of the deception. Doc Baker packs up his bag and says, you're going to have to do your business elsewhere. You are the only doctor for like how many hundreds of miles, right? You're like,
Right.
It's not like they're close to anything. He is it. If you need doctoring, you either have to figure it out yourself, find a neighbor who knows what to do, or the Doc Baker.
All she's trying to tell them is that she wants to see her kids one last time before she passes on. It's like, you're more eager to please my ghost than you are my actual person.
Right, because he would send on the telegram saying that she was deceased if she was actually dead, but not now when she really wants to just see her kids and her family one more time while she still has arms to hold them. And they're over here acting like she's asking for such a ridiculous thing when really it's kind of smart.
I gotta hand it to this lady. Wow. She has a way of making people just seem 2 inches tall.
Yes, 2 centimeters. I mean, she has given them the business. She's told them how they're just like her children, because the children only send letters to find out how she's doing. And she says, the only one I'm missing is you. Her youngest child, she hasn't seen in 15 years. He went off to war when he was 19, and she hasn't even had a how do you do from him.
Right.
I don't even think she made it sound like she hasn't seen anything from him.
And this is the first time in this show where they're teeing this up like a golf shot for the ultimate lion. Let's see it hum.
This woman is a pistol. She has them now. She's like, spare no expense. I'm going to give you the menu. She's already coming. She's rubbing her hands together. She's got the menu for her wake. She wants a birthday cake with a candle. And she's telling them, go to Mankato for the priest or the reverend there.
Yeah, for the reverend.
And it's a new person who's in Mankato, but they'll have the records of her children and send the wires out and make sure you get everybody going and spare no expense. And they have this look on their faces, Doc Baker and Pa, that they can't believe that they got themselves into this mess because they are getting ready to pull over the ultimate lion.
We come back now to Chaz in the barn. We've got Ma, Mary, and Laura. And he's explaining this plan to her, and she is just flabbergasted.
Okay, but hold on. How did he explain this? He recapped this by saying, Miss Amy's going to die on Monday, and I have to handle the funeral. This is how he... So Ma, uncharacteristically, is kind of like speaking harshly, telling Charles what he's going to do. And the whole time that she's talking, he's pounding nails into some kind of something that's off camera. And she has to ask him twice to stop doing it. And she says, oh, she'll think better of it. She hasn't met this Miss Amy then, because my goodness.
I am not going to allow this to happen.
And I'm going to go over there and talk to her about it. And he says, I am not going to tell an 80-year-old woman that I'm going back on my promise. And the girls are just standing there looking like, why are we even in the scene? Cut to the girls. We got Mary and Laura with their bonnets on. They're in bed. And Laura is saying, how long do you want to live? Mary is just over it. She wants to be done with this conversation.
Go to sleep.
Before it started,
Go to sleep.
She's like, I just want to sleep. How long do you want to live? She never answers. And then Laura says, I want to live forever. To which Mary says, you can't do that. And Laura says, who says? And Mary says, God. She says, God didn't tell you that. They went back and forth. We found out that supposedly dying is just like going to sleep. And now
according to Laura,
we come to Amy's house outside, and Pa is pacing back and forth. He's got his hands behind his back. That wagon is much better placed up against that fence, and somebody's on the other side. Who is that over there?
I don't know, but he's over there with Ma right now, remember, because she's going to set her straight. You're not doing this.
Oh, isn't this Carrie in the back of the wagon, and she's pacing back and forth with him? Go, Carrie! You're out of the high chair again! Woo! It
looks like highfalutin mom just got slapped down a couple of paces.
by Miss Amy. We like Miss Amy. Now, the thing I found was interesting was they're pacing back and forth. And yes, it was very cute having Carrie imitate him, hands behind her back, pacing at the same time. But you're waiting outside. You can't play with the kid. Like,
Right.
like you can't play with her.
Hey,
And
at
here's
least she's out of the high chair.
She's out of the high chair, but he has no idea about body language. She comes out there, throws that bonnet on her head, and she is twitching with annoyance. And he goes to kind of help her get up, but he realizes that she's already gotten onto the wagon. So he goes and gets Carrie, puts Carrie on her lap because seatbelts are way in the future. And now they're sitting there, and he finds out that Ma is now the one who has been enlisted by Miss Amy to bake the cake.
So now she's a co-conspirator
Yes,
in
because
Lyin.
that's coming up. I know it's taking a little while, but we promise we're getting to it. We had the smirk, but now we have Nels, who is Mr. Olson, and he is sweeping a very, very dirty. Like, did they throw half the dirt on the set onto this thing? And somehow it's not.
Angrily sweeping.
Angrily sweeping. And the respect that Doc Baker gets is, can you move those clodhoppers out of the way? And he was like, but Doc Baker, he had to stick his head in, go wipe your feet. And now he's told to move his feet because he's sitting on the porch outside of an establishment where it looks like he bought some kind of beverage, and he's sitting outside the mercantile. And Nels is like, get your clodhopper feet out of here. Doc Baker prevented our Lyin because he evasive maneuvered all over the place. Laura and Mary just came up after Nels is doing that angry sweep and get your clod up feet out of here. And they're asking, is Miss Amy okay? And he's like, well, I surely hope so. But you can see it on his face. He knows something in the background that he's trying to keep quiet. And then Nels is trying to ask after her, to which he hands over the beverage that you can tell now he bought at the mercantile. It's a really cool top, and he hands it over to him, and he's like, gotta go. So he delayed our Lyin.
So we have our next Lyin.
Because we come back to now, Doc Baker's over there telling Amy, hurry up. He's really being a little
You just need a
snippy.
few of those things.
Put some extra doodads in
and
there.
here's
She's packing his
Chaz
bag.
sticking his head through the door. Coast is clear.
Now she's packing a bag that she could have fit Carrie in this bag. Still better prepared than Charles in the 100-mile walk. But they sneak her out. Charles comes in. Coast is clear. So we really have a triple, right?
Lyin.
Triple Lyin. Because all of them are evasive maneuvering, trying to get out of this place. So no one sees that this woman is actually still alive.
Gotta ask this question. They're doing all this sneaking around outside.
It's like noon. It's like broad daylight.
All this sneaking around. What's around them?
They are
Nothing.
literally like Doc Baker even pulls down his hat. They come out the side door. They're looking back and forth surreptitiously, and it's like when they leave in the wagon, all you see are trees and hills and dirt and grass. They are like the only people for there's no one else around. Who are you hiding from?
Little dramatic
on the prairie.
We have our very next Lyin. Because we see this guy riding in on a donkey, it looks like, and clearly he doesn't know how to ride.
He has never
legs
ridden
are
one of these.
swaying.
Well, and he has no saddle or even a blanket, so it's a lot harder to maneuver. His feet are kicking out to the side.
So he says, he's Father so-and-so from Mankato. Could you direct me to the Ingalls? To which Laura promptly says, excuse me, I have to go, and runs off. And then Mary has to stand there and say, that's my sister Laura. She's shy.
Meanwhile,
She's shy.
Lyin.
She's like the most outgoing kid in the whole series.
Meanwhile, when do they say he's looking for the Ingalls farm? Neither one of the girls said, where we could take you there. That's our family. Nope. Neither one of them says a thing. Carrie for the win. We know she's back in the high chair, but she's got another line. Yay, Carrie! Yay, we're hearing about Amy. Laura's still running home, we think. Amy is now in the Ingalls, in the house, and she's sitting there peeling eggs, but they look like they're hard-boiled eggs, and they're peeling them, and they're talking about Amy's children and how they were exasperating and all this other stuff. And now Carrie has to go for a nap, and she gets the line, go, Carrie.
Wow. Please
So
explain
now,
that.
I would say that this is just one series of getting ready for a big lion. Why? Laura comes racing down that hill. She goes and scares all the chickens out of the barn. She says, Pa,
Priest
the
is here."
priest is here. He goes running so fast, his feet barely touch the ground, comes screaming around the corner, whips open the door, bodily grabs Miss Amy and tosses her into the room where Ma and him sleep, sends Laura over there because they are about to evade this priest and pretend that this woman is still alive. And this was a very action-packed scene after what has been kind of like, it's been slow rolling here.
Now I'm going to call this out. This is an open air cabin. There are no rooms.
There's no
How was he going to
walls.
hide her? I was waiting to see if he was going to toss her into bed and pull the covers over her
I mean,
head or
they would have
something.
had better luck putting her in the barn.
Put her up in the
Put her
loft.
up in the loft.
I know we've mentioned in other episodes how Mary goes trucking up the hill and Mary's power walking at it. It seems like she's on a mission.
She does. She walks with purpose and intent, and she is usually walking very quickly.
So in this next scene, they cut these. So here's Mary walking in front of this priest on the donkey, and they are moving slow.
It's glacial. I mean, this
So-
is like tortoise. They're going so slow, they may as well be going
So
backwards.
not only did you lie about Laura, but I'm going to call another lion because you're walking about a half a mile an hour down that hill when I know you probably could have power walked home and beat
Now,
Laura.
how about that, though? He's got the kids in on this. Miss Amy's got the entire family, except for Carrie, because she's too young to know what's going on. Lion. Because these, I mean, we got Mary over here stalling. She never walks this slow. We got Laura over there trying to make sure that this reverend priest or whoever he is who comes inside is unable to see Miss Amy in this open air area. And the parents over here, Ma and Pa, are holding their breath. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have to lie.
Not only is it bad enough that the whole family is lying over this whole thing.
They're lying.
Now they've got the priest in the house, and the first thing they do is offer him a seat, but he's talking about the wonderful smells of the home. Didn't you offer him anything to drink, anything to eat? This guy is trying to talk to you, and right, you just shut up. You're just totally ignoring him, and there's just awkward silence.
It's odd. And not only that, Charles is peeling a potato where you can see he's kind of holding the peel onto the potato.
'Cause it's already peeled.
So like while he's pretending to peel it, Ma's over there still cracking those, shells off those eggs. And this guy didn't even get a glass of water. He's sitting there saying he has no experience with wakes really. And he's new and he didn't know this lady, but he's going to do his best. Miss Amy for the win because Ma is over there vacillating like she's not going to be able to do this. Charles, I don't know if we can do this. Pa's over there and he's saying, lion, because the priest says in present tense she's a wonderful woman, and he says was. And then they talk about how her and her friend were both widows, and she's in the other room listening to them just not doing a good job with this. So she shows up and talks to the priest.
It's a good thing she showed up because she was about to get tossed under the bus.
Yep.
She comes in for the win.
She did. She came in for the win. Now, she goes outside with the priest. They look through the window. Now, this was a very odd scene. Ma is saying, oh, thank goodness, maybe she finally came to her senses. Now they think that the cat's out of the bag. The jig is up.
Yeah,
and Pa grabs half of they have a 3-tiered cake.
Yeah, remember she said, I'm making the cake. So she just put all this time into a cake. And I love it when they do stupid crap like this because, once again, jumping to conclusions. What does Pa do? Just snatches half of it right up. Won't be needing this anymore.
He takes like half of the top layer of the cake in his fist and is walking around eating it. They're watching Miss Amy outside with the priest. And they look so dejected, like, oh my gosh, all this preparation for nothing.
Here,
And
we got mine on this too, and she says to the girls, "Mine, here's the icing."
Right,
So
you
now,
may as
now
well
they're
have
eating
the
the
icing.
icing.
They think all this food is wasted. Like, you couldn't at least make the cake nice and at least just celebrate, even if you thought that it was weird. And she comes back in with the priest because she told the priest all about herself and gave her maiden name because
It would be a sin to lie to a priest.
To lie to a priest. They pull out all the stops for this funeral. It's all decorated. The entire town looks like they're there. Mary and Laura in their Sunday finest. They're walking in with pies. And then we have a little prying because Mrs. Olson is over there asking, why is there a birthday cake at a funeral? To which the priest says, oh, her friend described it to me. This is exactly what she would have wanted.
This is what she wanted.
This is what she wanted. And they're doing everything they can to stay away from people who may ask any questions. Oh, and the priest says, it's almost like I feel her presence. And Ma says, I know what you mean.
Now, please excuse me. Always doing something to get away because she doesn't want to get caught in her own lying with a priest, but it's too late for that.
Yes.
Didn't
the family
take long.
Shows up. It didn't take long. Now we got another Lyin because the family comes in. All the people who only sent her letters and never came to visit all of a sudden showed up for her wake and her funeral. And when Doc Baker is standing there mopping his face, we get to him lying because he
Hansen.
says, oh, it's just a little warm when Mr. Hansen asked him, Doctor, are you okay?
Yeah, I bet it's a little warm in there. Getting a little closer to hell, are you?
Well, we didn't tell you this one part. Charles looks very shocked when he looks over Ma's shoulder and sees the undeceased Amy standing with she's wearing
veil.
all black lace veil all the way around, and she's standing looking over the shoulder, telling us all of her family members that are coming in.
And this might be a good time to point out, too, that Pa's still wearing the same shirt he wears every day. It's just now he's got some kind of, looks like a Western tie.
Yeah, he's got some kind of like fancy fabric over there, but it's the same shirt he was sweating in when we first see him when we first got here. Yep. You know, I'm surprised that we got this far without any crying because there has been no crying yet, and they're at this wake where everybody is buzzing. The children are sitting there and talking and eating, and Ma and Pa are over there. And Ma says, how much longer is this going to go on? And then Miss Amy, with her veil covering her face, is making the rounds at this place, and no one sees. Like, we could see her face clear as day.
She
right?
might as well be a ghost.
Then she's listening in from the corner. She's listening into her oldest child, who's a son, Sean, and the daughter, I don't remember her name. And they're talking about how the youngest took the blame because, you know, the oldest one had broken a window and he didn't have the money, and he took the blame. And there's Miss Amy over there saying, you didn't get anything over me. She knew the whole time.
And we finally got our crying
because she's still over there listening. We find out that the daughter had brought home some blonde boy that Miss Amy had said, this kid's no good for you. And she was ready to leave. The daughter was ready to leave home to go stay with him. And then we found out she was right. And here's Miss Amy still over there in the corner with this veil, and she is crying. So Miss Amy was right. The youngest shows up. They have a very awkward, strange, like, who are these people? We just met you outside, and they gave us the script, kind of welcoming for each other. And they say, you finally come home. You know, it's a shame it took so long. It took something like this to bring us together. And she whips back that veil and she says,
Amen
to that. She unleashes a tongue lashing on every single one of them. This guy looks so 80s. in like late 70s, early. He's got 1982 stamped all over his face. I'm not sure what year this episode was done in.
I thought the funniest thing about this is as they're trying to launch into her for how dare you still be alive, she just smacks him down and just I'll deal with you later.
I'll deal with you later.
I'm going to deal with this one right
So we
now.
find out that the youngest, and this is probably the 70s, but we find out with the youngest.
74.
Okay, well, he is looking he was ahead of his time because I remember the 80s looking like that. The beginning of the 80s looked like this mustache and that haircut. But he's standing over there. We find out that 15 years ago, she's been waiting to find out from the War Department that he was dead, and he gave no word to her. He went through all of this stuff. She thought he had been gone. She had no idea what was happening. The brother and sister didn't really seem to care. She yelled, the oldest, Sean is over there telling her, you have something to answer for to us. And she says, I have a right to see my family. And this was the only way that I can do it. So no, it wasn't hard to do it. This is the way I had to do it because this was the only way you were going to do this for me.
You go, Amy.
Go, Amy.
And now we have our very next
Cryin, and it's a triple. She tongue lashed all three of them so much we had a chin quiver from the youngest, and we got the daughters over here sobbing, and Sean's trying to hold it together, but they are just crying.
Oh, crying.
Miss Amy ends up crying, covering her face, crying. You kids mean everything to me, and that's why I'm foolish. This youngest son hugs her, and what occurred to me just now is, first of all, you could hear a pin drop in this room where it was very, very a lot of talking. Sounded like a convention center before. And now
there's something serious going on when Mrs. Olsen is kept quiet.
Mrs. Olsen has been speechless since she whipped back that veil. We've seen her face looking shocked, but she has been speechless, and usually she talks a lot. And none of these children of this woman that had to make them come by pretending to die, okay, none of these children go to hug her until the youngest one feels that the mother is crying now. He goes over to hug, and then the oldest two decide, you know what? Oh, wow, we should be hugging this woman that we found out is alive because we were too busy being pissed off that we thought that she was dying.
We have pie in with the fiddle.
With the fiddle! So we go over, and Doc Baker has such a look of relief. He has been tossing him back this entire wake. He has been drinking like a fish.
Yep.
And then he looks over at Charles, who's got the quivering lip and somehow the smirk at the same time. And then he breaks out into some crying, picks up his fiddle and says, well, now that everybody knows it, this isn't a wake, it's a birthday party. Woohoo!
Yay!
Yay!
Miss Amy did it again.
Miss Amy again. She's got away with everybody. The priest, she's saying to the priest, I hope it's not too much that I did this. And he says, I think they'll understand. I forgot what
I think the bishop will understand.
And she says, well, if you feel that you need to tell him. And he winks at her, complicit. She's got everybody in this episode lying. She got a whole bunch of crying. And because we had some dying. We had pretending to die. We had actual dying. We had singing about dying. Dying was everywhere in this episode. And they brought it. We got Mrs. Olsen smiling in the background. We got Amy over here mid-wink. Everybody's happy because they thought they came to a wake and a funeral, and instead it's a birthday party with the fiddling.
Yay!
Woohoo! So I have confirmation this was 1974, and I am impressed that guy's hair and mustache was in play until at least 84 and possibly even up to 86. That was a very popular haircut and mustache style. They pan out, everybody's celebrating. Doc Baker has permission from Charles because, of course, he's busy fiddling. Ma always has to dance alone because Pa's the music. And the doctor has permission to dance with his wife. The kids are clapping. Mary is clapping in Carrie's face, who is out out of the high chair, and everything is right with the world, but they brang it. We had Dyin, Cryin, Lyin, we had pretend Dyin, we had singing about Dyin. They just went all out for it.
Even though it was a little slow to start, they did get the trifecta.
They did. They got the trifecta. They squoze it in any way they could. They got it in the cracks and the crevices.
They sure did. The next episode coming up is going to be called Town Party, Country Party. Be sure to catch it. And that concludes this episode of Too Luckies.
Too Luckies, the podcast.
And our series, Dyin,
Cryin
and Lyin.
We release these in threes, so if you enjoyed it, there's more. Go check it out.
Go check them out. We'll see you next time.
We're out.
See ya.
Too Luckies, the podcast.
Too Luckies podcast.
Too Luckies,
The podcast.